Hi, I tripled my sweet potato harvest with one simple trick, and so can you. In this video, I'll show you how this trick works and the outcome you will be delighted to have in your garden. So, let's get into it. To grow sweet potatoes, you need sweet potato slips. And the way we get sweet potato slips is from sweet potato tubers. Depending on your situation, you might need to refer to other YouTube channels just so you can get your first crop in place. Once you've got that first crop, then the trick that I need to show you later on is that's when it comes into play. So first things first, you need to get a crop of sweet potatoes growing, because the slips are in fact the vines. So the vines have the capacity to grow roots all the way along the length of the vine, and also new shoots all the way along the length of the vine. So the idea being that it can spread by touching the soil, roots will grow into the soil, and new plants will develop as it spreads. That's all good, but you need those vines in the first place. So there's a couple of ways to do it. You can put a sweet potato tuber that you bought in the shop, give it a really good wash and a soak overnight, because they do spray them with chemicals to stop them shooting. And then wait for maybe 6 weeks to 2 months until you get shoots coming off the end of the tuber, about 15 centimeters, 20 centimeters long. You can then take them off, and each one of those is an individual slip, which you then plant into the ground. Once you've got that first crop grown, you probably won't get a massive yield out of it, mainly because by the time those slips have generated their root system and built up their vines so that they can get energy from the sun and store it as food, the seed growing season's it's just too short down here in Gippsland. There just isn't enough summer. So that yield, that first year yield, won't be that great. But the next year, when you do harvest that first yield, that first harvest, you can take cuttings from the vines and pop them into pots, and they will grow into individual plants over winter. So I do about a dozen. They're not all going to go. Some of them will fail, but this year, from the looks of things, I've got 9 out of the 12 are going to be viable. So basically, I'll grow them over winter in the greenhouse, but any warm, sunny spot will do. And come next year, next spring, I'll be popping them in the ground with a fully formed root system ready to go. So it's a bit of a long game if you don't currently have a crop ready to be harvested, and if you're in Gippsland, you probably don't, because it's already too late. So you've got to be thinking 2 years down the track. The upside is that once you get to that point, your yields will almost triple, because you've got so much longer growing season in order to achieve the yield that you're looking for. So in our case, we went from about 3.5 kilo out of 6 square feet up to about 10.5 kilo out of 6 square feet. So nearly a tripling, and that's actually pretty good and I'm not sure if that's going to be enough for us. We'll have to wait and see whether I need to plant more. But this year it looks like I'm going to have 9, so I'll plant all of those 9, and we'll see how we go with that. So yeah, you need to wait till the soil's got to, I don't know, 10, what's it, about 15 degrees. So a soil thermometer is an excellent idea, so that you don't put them out too early and stall them. And it takes a surprisingly long time to get to the point where 15 degrees is a relatively stable temperature for the soil. Even in the raised beds that I use, that warm up quicker than soil in the ground. So now all that's left to do is prepare the vines by cutting them up into pieces and putting them into pots. So you do need to cut them the right way though, and that's what we're going to show you right now. So let's go in. There's a point where a new vine, a new leaf can grow, and just below that, on the lower side of the vine node, there are little points where roots can grow. So the idea is to cut this in such a way that we can put it into potting soil and then allow the roots to grow and allow the top part to grow out and become a new plant. So to do that, we can remove the current leaves because they're going to die anyway. We'll leave a bit at the top just to indicate where it is in the pot, and then we'll take a bit of the bottom up. So it's going to go into the pot on an angle like that. So there'll be growth coming up here toward the upper part of the plant, and down here where the little nodes are for the roots, it'll hopefully grow roots. So I take about a dozen of these. So if I pop this into the soil on a 45-degree angle, just bury it down, nice and gentle, and poke it in. So a dozen of those in the greenhouse or in a sunny windowsill or anywhere where you can keep them moist and warm. And then next spring, because we're in autumn now, next spring I'll have plants that are about this high. There'll be root system underneath. I'll just transplant them out, and hopefully I'll have maybe 6 or 7 viable plants out of the dozen that I have set up like this. So that's the way I nearly tripled my sweet potato harvest. If you think it'll work for you, why not give it a try next time you harvest sweet potatoes? Just have some pots ready for your cuttings and a warm sunny spot for them to live, and next planting time they'll be good to go. Thank you for watching. I hope you found it useful. Please hit the like button and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Until next time, keep on gardening.